Hello and welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be watching 10 famous chess studies from the Rook Endgames. As you all know, Rook Endgames are the most common ones, and it is really important to know them really good, especially the most famous positions, because they can very commonly arise in all sorts of positions, in all sorts of chess tempos, whatever you prefer to play, and it's good to know at least the basic ones. So we will first start with the basic endgames, and then we will progress to a more complicated ones. I will try and upload as much as I can during the week, but I'm not sure if this series will continue depending on your interest. If you enjoy these positions and Rook Endgames, I will continue making, and if not, I will not continue doing them. And yeah, that's all, guys. So now we will start first 10 positions. This is the first one. In this position, we are to play as white, and we need to find a way to or actually we are to play as black, and we need to find a way to draw the endgame. White is on the move. The way how white can continue in this game, and the best move of his, since we are threatening to promote the pawn, is to play rook to a2 check. After king to d1, white can try and checkmate us here with king to d3, but right now we don't promote to a queen, obviously, because we will get mated, and right now we will promote to a knight. After this move, king will go to c3, and this is a theoretical draw. I will not bother you too much with these endgames with king and knight against a king and a rook, but this is a theoretical draw. There are some instances where you can lose this game, but usually if you keep your king and your knight close to each other, then you will be safe. I will not, of course, go into more details about that. Just remember this tactic, that always when you have these sort of positions, if white is trying to checkmate you, you can always promote to a knight and you will have a draw, instead of course, promoting to a queen and getting checkmated. And now we are going to our second position. Okay, guys, this is the second chess study. We are to play as white, and we need to find a way to win this endgame. So the correct way to win this endgame is to go for a rook to e8. The main idea is to, right now, we want to pressure this pawn and get closer with our king. As you can see, this king is boxed out from these squares, so he can only go here on d2, and after this we simply win with king to f2. Now, of course, there is another way to win this. So if you ever find yourself in this sort of positions, with here a rook on e8, so let's say now we played a rook to a8. In this position now, if king goes on d2, we can also win with rook to a2 check, and right now if king goes on e3, we continue with rook to a1, and after, let's say, king to d2, we will go the same with king to f2, and we will stop the promotion and we will pick up this pawn. So this is how you win this sort of positions, and now we are going on our third study. As you can see, guys, this position is slightly different from our previous position, where our king was located on g2 and we were winning. Now, when our king is located on g3, we are actually drawing the game. So there is no way for us to win the game, but there is a way to put some tricks to black in order to make him blunder. I will, of course, show you. So let's see what are our options here. So obviously we will continue with king to f3, trying to immediately pressure this pawn. In this position, if you play as black, you need to go with king to f1, and right now if here white tries to go with rook to h8 to checkmate us here, our situation looks kind of grim. In this position, we will of course promote to a knight, and again we will have a theoretical draw. So this is one way to continue. Right now, after king to f3, pardon me, so no, actually we will go back. So in this position, instead going king to f3, white, if we play this position as white, we can try a trick here, and we can play with king to h2. Now this is a really tricky move here, because if black makes a mistake and he plays the move like king to f1, black is losing the game. We tricked him. So right now we continue with firstly a rook to f8 check. After king retreats to e1, because he must to, we continue with king to g1, and right now, as you can see, black will be left without moves. After king goes on d2, we will continue with rook d8 check. After king goes on e3, we will continue with rook to e8 check, and after king to d2, we will continue with king to f2, and again we are getting this pawn and we are winning this game. So this is a nice trick, so always remember it. After king to h2, if king f1 is played, if after king f2, if after king h2, king f1 is played, this is a losing game. Now I will show you, of course, another way how you should play here as black. Actually, after king to h2, the way you should continue is king to f2. And right now, after rook to f8 check, you definitely don't want to go king to e1 because you are losing the game. Remember that. After rook to f8 check here, you must go with king to e3 here. This is the way to hold the draw. Rook to e8 check, we just go king to d2, and there is no way of stopping either promotion or white has to give us checks. We will simply run around and getting ready to promote, so there is no way to stop. But please, after rook to f8 in this position, check. If you go on e1, you are again losing the game with the same idea. White now goes king to g2. After king to d2, rook to d8 check. And right now, if you go king to e3, that's perfectly fine. But right now, rook to e8 check, king to d2, and king f2 as well. After rook to d8, if you go king to e1, then rook to e8 simply holds it like in the previous examples, king to f2, and we lose the game here as black. So please keep in mind, this is the way to hold the draw. So this is a drawable position. We will go back one more time from the start. In this position, if king to f3, you know how to do, but the most important part is if white tries some tricks with king to h2, you always try to go into opposition and try to gain as much space as you can with king to f2. So this is the way to hold the draw. Let's go to our next position. Okay guys, here we have another chess study. Now instead of rook being on d8, this rook is located on g8. And now it is important thing to know that in this sort of positions, if this rook is located here, 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 and anywhere else, and instead of d8, in this position we are winning here as white. And I will of course show you the procedure how we should continue. So we are white and we should continue with king to g2 as our best move. Now we can draw this game if we are not careful. I will first show you how you should continue playing. Of course, with king to g2, now king to d2 is a must, or king to d1. We continue with rook to d8 no matter what. And after king, let's say, goes to e3, again rook to e8 is the procedure. After king to d3, we continue with king to f2, and we will be picking up this pawn. Now instead of king g2, if there is a mistake made here, I will just show you how delicate this endgame can be. If we play something like rook to d8, this is a draw. Right now black draws, and I will show you the procedure. We continue with king to f1 here as black, and after rook to f8, we are not going on e1 because then white will win. We are going on g1, and this is a complete draw. Right now, if rook to e8, we again go rook to f1, and that is pretty much it. You must check, or you must let us promote, and this is the way to draw. After instead of king to g2, let's say white tries something else. I will now check here. Let's say rook to a8 is played. This is again a draw because king to f1 again, rook to f8 check, and king to g1. Remember this move, king to g1 in these sort of positions. You don't want to go king to e1 because again you are losing with the same idea. Rook to d8 check, and right now again we are winning here as white. So remember these sort of positions. As I mentioned before, let's just sum it up. So in these sort of positions, unless your rook is on d8, everything is winning. So your rook can be anywhere else. If your king is this position this way, you are winning the game. We are going straight to the next position. In this position, we are to play as white, and we need to find the win or draw this game if possible. As you can see, the win will be very difficult. We must stop the promotion here. Let's see what is the most efficient way to do so. Of course, we will try and firstly win this game. So let's say rook to a5, we give this check. Now let's see how we should continue. Let's say if we play this position as black, how we should hold the draw. So the best move for black in this position is king to b1, a really important move. After rook to b5, we continue with king to c1. After rook to c5 check, we continue with king to d1. As I mentioned, the same from the previous position. Remember this move, you just move on the d file in the opposition towards the other king, and right now white is forced to retreat to b5. You continue with rook to c1. Now let's say if after rook to a5 check, if instead of rook to a5 you play king to c3, Then of course black will promote to a knight with a check, and after king to c2, knight a3 check, king to c3, and knight to b1 check. So this is a theoretical draw. Of course, after king to c3, if you promote to a queen, of course this is not a possibility because you will get checkmated. So after rook to a5, what happens if as black, instead of b1, you go on b3? Then you are losing with this move, rook to b5 check, king a2, and king to c2, and you lost the game. In this position, after rook to c5 check, again, you don't want to go king to b1, because right now king to d2 is a move. And after king to a2, rook a5 check, let's say now king to b3, rook b5 check, king to a2 again, and king to c2, and we are winning the game. After here, let's say rook to a5 check again. If you go with king to b1, then rook to b5 again, and you have to move, and king comes on c2, and he will pick up your pawn. Yes, indeed, you have a trick here. You can go with king to a1, but it's only temporarily, because on the next move you are getting checkmated. White will never take this. He will checkmate you. Let's go to the next position. Here is a very cool study. In this position we are to play as white, and we need to find a way to stop this black pawn from promoting. This situation seems almost impossible, but there is a way using our rook and our king. As you can see, this king is sort of limited. He cannot leave this pawn, but he also must cut our rook from coming on the e file. So let's see what is the drawing procedure. So rook to d3 first, we give this check. If king goes on f2, rook to d2 is immediate draw, because we will pick up this pawn. After rook to d3 check, if king to g4, black will lose actually with rook to e3. So after rook to d3 check, king has to go on f4, and after that rook d4 check. If king retreats, we will continue checking him, and if he goes on f5, we will continue with the same check. If he goes back, the procedure is the same, but now he will go a little bit up. King on f6, rook to d6 check, king goes on f7, rook d7 check, and right now after king to e8, we still continue checking this black king. Rook to d8 check, king to f7, and we continue with rook to d7. Now I want to show you that in let's say this sort of position, let's go a bit back here. After rook to d5, let's say, yes, black had this sort of positions, but we can even go rook to d8 here. By the way, one of the another ideas here is to go with rook to d8, although if king f7 check here, or if not, he will simply lose a pawn. So this is another tactic here that you should know. Rook can always go back, especially if the king is on the same line, so we have a nice cure here, and he will lose his queen. Let's go to the next position. This was really fun. Now let's see this amazing study, which is almost similar as the previous example, but with only slight difference that king, instead of being on c7, now it is on c6. Now let's see if we can try and draw this endgame as white. Let's try with rook to d3 check. King will go on f4, and we will go with rook to d4 check, king f5, rook to d5 check, king will go on f6, rook d6 check, king f7, and after rook to d7, king e8. Unfortunately, we don't have a rook to d8 check, and unfortunately this will means that black will promote to a queen. So as you can see, king was only one square further than before, and this is a lost endgame for white. Interesting example. Let's continue to the next one. Here is another cool chess study. Here we are to play as white, and we need to find a way to stop this black pawn. Now it seems like this will be a really difficult job, since again we have almost the same position and we need to go with our rook. But it looks like our rook will be left out of moves after this king goes on the 8th rank, and we will be out of moves, and we will be in a losing endgame. But this is not the case, because we have one trick. So the way to draw is firstly rook g3 check. If king goes back, we go rook g2, and we have immediate draw. King goes on e4, we continue with rook to g4 check. King e5, rook to g5 check. King e6, rook g6 check. King e7, rook to g7 check, and after king to f8, oh no, looks like black will promote. but black will not promote because we have a cool trick, rook to g5, a brilliant move. Now if black decides to promote to a queen, we have this amazing and brilliant check, and if black doesn't want to lose, he has to pick up with his queen, and this will be a stalemate and a draw. After rook to g5 here, the best way for black to continue the game is to actually promote to a rook. Right now this tactic doesn't work, but we have rook against a rook, and it's again draw endgame. Let's continue to the next chess study. So here is another amazing chess study. We are to play as black here, and we need to find a way to stop this white pawn from promoting. Now, is there a way to do so? Let's check it out. So our main idea is to firstly, of course, start giving checks. Somehow we have to force ourselves into invading on this c file here. Of course, white will not give, and he will play king to b5. After rook to d5 check, he will continue with king to b4. Right now, after rook to d4 check, king can go on b3. After rook to d3 check, king can go on c4, and now we can put some small trick here if we can, and we will try with a rook to d4 here. In this position, if white promotes to a queen, this is losing because right now we have a rook to c4 check, and after queen to c4, this is a draw. So we have a trick. But after king to c2 and now rook to d4 move, right now instead of promoting to a queen, white will promote to a rook. Unfortunately, our nasty position here of our king will result that we are actually losing this endgame. There is nothing we can do. We can try with rook to a4, but white has this amazing king to b3 move, and right now this is a double threat. This rook is hanging, checkmate is coming, and there is no way of stopping all the threats. And actually black is losing. So truly wonderful example. Just remember it from the start. Let's go back. In this position, white is winning, and there is no way for black to stop the promotion or get checkmated. Let's go to the next example. Here we are on our last example of today's video, guys. In this position, we are to play as white, and we need to find a way to draw this endgame, if we can, of course. As you can see, black is trying to promote here, and it seems like there is no way of us stopping this promotion and going into a losing endgame. But actually there is. Why? Because we have a king nearby, and we have a really awkwardly put king here. If this king was located somewhere on d2, this would be impossible move, or actually no, it wouldn't be impossible, but at least this technique would be impossible, because I will show you right now what will happen. Rook to a6 is the first move we have, so there is no way of stopping the promotion, so we have to allow the promotion. But the point is that right now this queen and king are very awkwardly put. We can continue with this check firstly. If king ever goes on c file, we will continue with the check, and we will take his queen and we will draw. If king continues on a file, we will just keep checking. If king goes on b4, we continue checking. King goes on a5, rook a6 check, and he can never leave this b and a file. We will just keep checking, and we will draw this amazing endgame, guys. And this was all I prepared for you today in these Rook Endgames. I really hope you enjoyed them. I'm really looking forward to your feedback as well. Do let me know if you enjoyed this sort of videos and positions. If I see a nice feedback, if people really like watching these endgames, this is only the basic of the basics. So this is only the start. This book I have has like 2,500 positions. It's an old book, some chess informant, a really big, massive book. Contains the most famous chess studies. This is from Rook Endgames, and I will try and share them with you if I receive a nice feedback. If you people and you guys really like watching Rook Endgames, and you really like those sort of positions and those sort of videos. Of course, if you want to improve at chess, you can always check the link in the description of this video. I have a small community I'm a part of. If you wish to join, do click them out and check them out. Creating an account is free. And of course, if I miss something in the analysis, do let me know. How was your knowledge? Did you manage to solve most of these puzzles? Do you know how to, are you good at playing Rook Endgames? Most people always struggle with Rook Endgames because they are so vast, they have such depth to it, so you can make one move and everything is over, and everything looks the same, but it's actually not. So do let me know your comments. Did you know this? Did you know these games previously and these studies? And I look forward to hearing from you guys. I wish you a pleasant night. Bye bye.